So here we are in your second week of your leadership stress signals. Are you spotting your team's stress signals before it's too late? Now, again, you all of a sudden get that door closed and someone's now sharing they need to take a stress leave. Or, hey, I need to go for surgery. I need to do this. I need to do that. We know about the whole body, mind, and spirit. It's so important as a leader that we are so tuned in to the subtleties of what our team is trying to share with us. Wouldn't you agree? So when you think about the emotionally fit room, I want you to think about what are some things that maybe all of a sudden you notice that you've got somebody now that seems a little bit more anxious. You sense anxiety in the way people are talking. Maybe there's a sense of overwhelm. You know, people saying things like, I feel like I'm drowning. It's just way too much. I'm in overwhelm. Some of these oftentimes are statements where people are trying to kind of put out a little bit of the red flag. Somebody pay attention. I've got too much going on. I think the other part too is it's really important as well is that, you know, when you've got mood swings happening, someone who's maybe normally very self-regulated, that now all of a sudden they've got these mood swings happening and it's like, it feels like it's coming out of left field. But is it? There were again subtle stress signals that happened before. So that's where it's more important than ever as a leader that you're so tuned in to those emotional stress signals that your team are giving you, and also within yourself, right? If all of a sudden you catch yourself on edge or saying things passive aggressively or sharply, I don't know about you, but I grew up in a family where we use humor as a way of connecting, but sometimes it borders on passive aggressive. And it's really important. I've got to keep that in check because I can offend somebody when that's the last thing I want to do. I actually want to connect with them. So again, sometimes it's really unpacking that with a team. You know, I know we're using humor here. However, I feel sometimes we're going over that boundary line. So how can we reel it in? Having those very open conversations, I think, are really important. So you might be saying, so what are the solutions? Like, how do I deal with this, Cate? I think, again, it goes back to, you know, that real importance of making sure that, you know, your folks are getting consistent breaks. Are you role modeling that? Are you getting away from your desk to take a break, not just for lunch, but even a coffee break or a tea break or going out for a walk for 10 minutes before your next meeting? Or you boom, boom, boom? And do they see on your schedule that you are so overscheduled, have so many meetings that there's no chance to breathe? See, that sets the tone in an organization. And as leaders, we have a responsibility, not just what we're saying, but are we walking our talk? Would you agree? So what I'd love for you to do is take a look at observing what is the emotional tone within your organization at your next team meeting. At, you know, what's the theme within the supervisions that you're providing? What sort of are some of the common comments that are coming out of people? It's really important to tune into that. And I think this is where I can't say enough about booking a team retreat. I have had such great results. I'm very honored to work with the organizations that I work with, and it's just mind-blowing, the transformation. Because when you take people out of their environment, it's unbelievable how much they're willing to share and unload, and then start to realize that, hey, maybe there's some things I need to do differently, and equally as important, if not more important, there's a lot of things I'm doing really well. You see, when we're under stress, that's when the self-criticism can come in. And that's a big one we have to keep an eye on, both for ourselves as leaders, as well as for our team member. Pay attention to the language people are using. And maybe say, okay, let's do between now and our next meeting, team meeting or staff meeting, that we're all going to be very mindful of the self-talk, you know, and just, you know, let's pay attention to catching ourselves when we're actually being more self-compassionate. And, you know, maybe have a jar somewhere. You can add marbles, you can add, you know, nickels or whatever people want to do, dimes. I just think it's such a fun exercise, but most importantly, it gets people really more present and intentional of that self-talk, because we know that the self-talk turns into then that emotional piece around feeling not good about themselves, feeling like an imposter, feeling that they're not getting it quite right or they're not being perfect. So that perfectionism can rear its head as well. And I love that phrase. I can't take responsibility for it. I would love to know who said it, but perfect is good, but done is better. Sometimes we need to say that at our team meeting. Remember that. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just doesn't. You know, progress, not perfection. So I would love to hear which of the exercises or solutions I suggested. Have yourself a wonderful day. Take care. See you next week.